My business trip was supposed to last 5 days. I remember that Sunday evening so clearly. I was packing my suitcase in the bedroom, folding clothes, checking off items on my mental list. Laptop. Charger. Presentation notes. The black dress for the awards dinner. Shane was leaning against the doorframe, watching me with that lazy smile I'd fallen in love with 12 years ago. "You sure you have to go?" he asked. 5 days is a long time. "I'll call every night," I promised, walking over to kiss him. "And I'll bring you something nice from Chicago. Bring yourself home early. That's all I want." I laughed and zipped my suitcase. If I'd known then what I know now, I would have stayed. I would have canceled the trip, burned the presentation, done anything to avoid what was coming. But I didn't know. I kissed him goodbye, got in the Uber, and flew 3 states away to a conference I barely remember attending. My name is Lena. I'm 34 years old, a regional manager for a pharmaceutical company. I worked my way up from an entry-level position over 12 years, missing dinners, missing weekends, missing birthdays, all to build something stable for my family. Shane and I had been married for 8 years. We had a nice house, 2 cars, a golden retriever named Cooper, and plans for children once my career settled down. It was a good life. A normal life. The kind you think will last forever until it doesn't. My younger sister Mira is 29. She's the opposite of me in every way. Where I'm organized, she's chaotic. Where I'm careful, she's reckless. Where I planned every step of my life, she stumbled through hers, always needing rescuing, always needing money, always needing someone to clean up her messes. That someone was usually me. I loved her anyway. She was my sister. My only sibling. When our mother died 5 years ago, it became just the 2 of us. I promised Mom on her deathbed that I'd always take care of Mira. I kept that promise. I bailed her out of bad relationships, paid her rent when she lost jobs, held her hand through every crisis. I never imagined she'd become my biggest crisis. The conference was in downtown Chicago, at a hotel so fancy I felt underdressed just walking through the lobby. The first 2 days were fine. Meetings, networking, boring speeches about sales targets. I called Shane every night like I promised. He sounded normal. Tired from work, he said. Missing me, he said. I believed him. On Wednesday, something shifted. I was sitting in a presentation about new market trends when this feeling hit me. Not a thought. A feeling. Deep in my gut, like something was terribly wrong. I tried to ignore it. Told myself I was tired, stressed, imagining things. But it wouldn't go away. It grew stronger through lunch, through the afternoon sessions, through dinner. By 9 p.m., I couldn't breathe. I went in my room and called Shane. No answer. I called again. No answer. I texted, "Everything okay?" No reply. I called Mira. No answer. I told myself it was nothing. They were both busy. They had their own lives. I was being paranoid. But I couldn't sleep. I lay in that hotel bed staring at the ceiling, my heart pounding, my mind racing. At 2 a.m., I made a decision. I booked a flight for the next morning. Not Thursday night. Thursday morning. I'd missed the last day of the conference. I didn't care. I landed at 11 a.m. Thursday. I didn't tell Shane I was coming. I wanted to surprise him. Walk in, see his face, feel stupid for worrying, laugh about it over lunch. I took an Uber from the airport. The drive took 45 minutes. I watched familiar streets roll past, telling myself everything was fine. Telling myself I was crazy. Telling myself this was just stress and I needed a vacation. Then the Uber turned onto my street. And I saw it. A red Honda Civic in my driveway. I knew that car. I'd helped Mira buy that car 2 years ago, co-sign the loan because her credit was bad. It was parked right next to Shane's truck, like it belonged there. At 11 a.m. on a Thursday. Mira worked at a dental office. She should have been there right now, cleaning teeth, not sitting in my driveway. I paid the driver and got out. My legs felt like rubber. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Cooper should have been barking. He always barked when someone came to the door. But there was nothing. I used my key as quietly as possible. The door opened. I stepped inside. Cooper was in the living room, lying on his bed. He looked at me, tail wagging, but he didn't get up. Like he already knew. Like he'd given up. I heard sounds from upstairs. Movement. Whispering. A laugh. Myra's laugh. I knew what I would find. Some part of me had known since Chicago. Since that feeling started. Since the calls went unanswered. But knowing and seeing are different things. I walked up the stairs. Each step felt like walking through water. At the top, I turned toward the bedroom. The door was open. Shane was sitting on the edge of the bed, shirtless, his head in his hands. Mira stood by the window, wrapped in a sheet, her face white as chalk. The sheets were tangled. Clothes were on the floor. A bottle of wine sat on the nightstand. My wine. From our anniversary. Surprise, I said. The silence that followed was heavier than anything I've ever felt. Mira opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Shane looked at me like I was a ghost, like I'd risen from the dead to haunt him. I stood in the doorway, taking it all in. The scene played before me like a movie I couldn't turn off. How long? My voice was calm. Too calm. The calm of someone who's already broken and doesn't know it yet. Shane shook his head. Lena, it's not what it looks like. I almost laughed. Almost. Then what is it? She's here at 11 a.m. to borrow sugar? To discuss the weather? To use our bed because hers is being painted. Mira started crying. Ugly crying, the kind where your face contorts and snot runs down your lip. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It just happened. We never meant to hurt you. Never meant to hurt me. I repeated the words slowly, tasting them. You never meant to hurt me. So you slept with my husband. In my house. In my bed. While I was 3 states away, working to pay for this house, this bed, this life you're both destroying. Shane stood up, reaching for me. I stepped back. Don't touch me. Don't ever touch me again. Lena, please. Let me explain. Explain what? How you've been screwing my sister behind my back. How long, Shane? Weeks? Months? Years? He looked at the floor. That told me everything. Months, I whispered. Months of lying to my face. Months of kissing me goodbye and coming home to her. Months of me working and trusting and believing in us while you were here, in our home, destroying everything. Mira sobbed. I didn't mean for this to happen. I love you, Lena. You're my sister. You have a funny way of showing it. I walked to the closet and pulled out a bag. Started throwing clothes into it. Anything I could grab. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I couldn't stay here. What are you doing? Shane asked. I'm leaving. And when I come back, you better be gone. Both of you. Lena, don't do this. We can talk. We can fix this. Fix this. I turned to look at him, and for the first time, my voice broke. There's no fixing this. There's no fixing any of this. You broke me. Both of you. And I will never, ever forgive either of you. I grabbed my bag and walked out. Down the stairs, past Cooper, out the door. Myra's red Honda sat there like a monument to betrayal. I got in my car and drove. I drove for hours. Didn't know where I was going. Just drove. Highways, back roads, through towns I'd never seen. At some point, I pulled into a motel parking lot and sat there, gripping the steering wheel, trying to remember how to breathe. My phone buzzed. Shane. Then Mira. Then Shane again. Then voicemails, texts, notifications piling up. I turned it off and threw it on the passenger seat. I sat in that parking lot until dark. Then I checked into the motel, lay on the bed, and stared at the ceiling. The next few weeks were a blur. I stayed with a friend from work, filed for divorce, hired a lawyer, went through the motions of living while feeling dead inside. Shane called constantly. Mira called constantly. I blocked them both. My friend kept asking if I was okay. I kept saying yes. We both knew I was lying. The divorce was finalized 6 months later. I got the house. Shane got his truck and whatever he could fit in it. I never asked where he went. I didn't care. Mira tried to contact me dozens of times. Letters, emails, messages through relatives. I deleted them all without reading. My sister was dead to me. The person I'd protected my whole life, the person I'd loved and sacrificed for, had stabbed me in the back in the worst possible way. I thought that was the end of the story. I thought I'd move on, heal eventually, build a new life. I thought the worst was behind me. I was wrong. A year passed. Then 2. I threw myself into work. Promotions, transfers, longer hours. I moved to a different city, bought a new house, adopted a dog. I dated a little, nothing serious. I learned to be alone, to be enough on my own. I stopped thinking about Shane. Mostly. I stopped thinking about Mira. Almost. The pain faded into something manageable, something I could carry without it crushing me. Then the phone call came. It was a Tuesday evening in October. I was making dinner, listening to music, normal evening. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Lena. A woman's voice. Familiar, but I couldn't place it. Yes, it's Aunt Karen. My aunt. My mother's sister. I hadn't spoken to her in years. Aunt Karen? Is everything okay? It's Mira. She paused. She's in the hospital. It's bad, Lena. Really bad. She's asking for you. I sat down heavily. What happened? Car accident. She was hit by a drunk driver. She's in ICU. They don't know if she'll make it. Another pause. I know what she did to you. I know you haven't spoken in years. But Lena, she's your sister. And she's been asking for you nonstop since she woke up. I stared at the wall, my mind spinning. 2 years of silence. 2 years of hatred. 2 years of telling myself she was dead to me. Which hospital? I drove through the night again. Different city, different hospital, same feeling of dread. I found the ICU on the 3rd floor. Aunt Karen was waiting. She's weak, she warned. They don't know if she'll recover fully. But she's conscious. She's waiting. I walked into the room. Mira looked small in that hospital bed. Bruised, bandaged, tubes everywhere. But her eyes found mine immediately. And she smiled. A weak, broken smile. You came. I sat in the chair beside her bed. I came. Tears slid down her cheeks. I didn't think you would. I didn't deserve you to. You're right. You didn't. She nodded slowly. I know. I know I destroyed us. I know I destroyed you. There's no excuse for what I did. No explanation that makes it okay. Then why did you do it? She closed her eyes. Because I was jealous. Because I was broken. Because I spent my whole life being the one who needed saving, and you were the one who always saved me. And somewhere along the way, I started resenting you for it. For being better. For having more. For being the one everyone loved while I was the one everyone tolerated. I stared at her. So you slept with my husband? I know. It makes no sense. It was stupid and cruel, and I hated myself every second of it. But I couldn't stop. It made me feel powerful. Like for once, I had something you didn't. Like for once, I won. Won what? You destroyed our family. I know. She was crying harder now. I know. And I've regretted it every single day since. I've been in therapy. I've tried to change. I've tried to become someone you could maybe someday forgive. I didn't know what to say. So I just sat there, holding her hand. I'm not asking for forgiveness, she whispered. I'm not asking for anything. I just needed to see you one more time. To tell you I'm sorry. Really, truly sorry. And to tell you that I love you. I always loved you. I was just too broken to show it. She drifted off to sleep after that. I sat with her for hours, watching her breathe, thinking about everything. She survived. It took months, but she survived. And slowly, carefully, we started to rebuild. Not the same relationship. That was gone forever. But something new. Something fragile and honest and real. It wasn't easy. There were fights, tears, moments when I wanted to walk away. But we kept trying. Both of us. Last month, Mira came to my house for dinner. She brought dessert. We sat on my porch, watching the sunset, not talking much. Just being together. I'm glad you came that night, she said quietly. To the hospital. Me too. I know I don't deserve you. But I'm grateful. Every day. I looked at my sister. The one who had broken me. The one who had helped put me back together. The one who was still trying, still growing, still becoming someone better. Maybe forgiveness isn't about deserving, I said. Maybe it's about choosing. Choosing to let go. Choosing to try again. She nodded slowly. Are you choosing that? I thought about it. Really thought about it. The betrayal. The pain. The years of silence. And then the hospital room. The apology. The slow, painful rebuilding. Yeah, I said. I am. She smiled. A real smile. The first one I'd seen from her in years. We sat on that porch until dark, talking about nothing, letting the silence say what words couldn't. Some betrayals can't be undone. Some wounds leave scars. But some relationships, the ones worth saving, can be rebuilt. Brick by brick. Word by word. Day by day. I came home early from a business trip and found my sister's car in my driveway. It destroyed me. But it also, eventually, led me here. To this porch. To this moment. To this fragile, imperfect, precious thing we're still building. My sister. My family. My choice.